All right, all right. All right. How we doing, everybody? Hello, hello, hello. I'm early. No, I'm early. I'm actually starting on time today. Congratulations to me. I'm showing growth and progress. Good morning, good morning. Or I'm on a nighttime schedule, so y'all gonna hear me say good morning a lot. Good evening to all the normal people with normal work schedules. I'm getting started in a couple of minutes. It looks like I'm gonna be flying this one tad bit solo today, but we're gonna get through it. If y'all can stand my voice long enough, we're gonna get through it. Say, look at you exceeding expectations. All right, so before I get to that chat, before I get to the chat, I'm gonna open up. I want to talk about some things, and I need y'all to listen. I need y'all to hear me. I need to articulate myself properly. I need y'all to hit a fire that's coming out of my belly as I'm saying these things, because I need y'all to understand it. First things first, right below me, subscribe to the channel. If you're on your cell phone, you probably can't click that thing. But if you are not on your cell phone and you see that thing frequently throughout the show, just scan it one good time for us and subscribe to the channel. It's so easy a caveman can do it. And being a certified caveman myself, it's that easy. All right, so we're gonna get another minute or so, and I'm gonna get right into it. I don't want to waste nobody's time. I think we're gonna do about half an hour tonight. I'm gonna go for about 20 minutes, then I'll jump into the chat, do the Q&A, and then after that, then we'll go ahead and try to shut it down. My brother is chaperoning his daughter's dance tonight, so he's doing his daddy thing, representing extraordinary men on the home front. Hey, uncalled for. I haven't been able to do it. Hey, in time, man, when it's time for it. But you ain't on the chat yet. Hold on, we're gonna get to it when you get to it. All right, all right, all right. Yep, doing the daddy thing. All right, so we're gonna get this QR reader out of y'all face and let's get to it. So for those who know me as Mike Jones or Phil Jones, however you know me personally, professionally, and this is the Extraordinary Man Podcast. Anybody who can see this title, the title above is called The Road to Manhood, in my opinion. Am I what anybody would consider the archetypical man or the they want to be? I would not know. All I know is that I represent a portion of the population and I have an idea based on the trials and tribulations that I had to go through in order to learn from my situations. And like any man that I've ever met that I've respected as a man, they take from their experiences and they give them back. It's always an aspect of reciprocity, as carbon dioxide to oxygen, as the plants to human beings. It's always about whatever you take, you give back. So I'm going to go ahead and try some of that out today. So, first and foremost, I think we all have a basic understanding of what manhood is, but I think that as of late, there's been a lot of skewing the terms of people having opinions about what a man is. First and foremost, let's just be all the way clear here. A man is whoever a man decides to be. Whoever you wake up in the morning and say that you are, you have the opportunity to change your mind. If you say that I'm going to do just enough and I'm going to live a bare minimum, live within my means type of existence, that's your prerogative. If you say that I'm going to be the largest figure in any industry and I'm going to be somebody who's going to dominate everything that I do, and I'm going to put in the work to make sure that I can achieve that goal, that's also your prerogative. You get to choose that for yourself. But nonetheless, what I think that's most important is understanding there's some basic milestones that men all have to go through. And I don't care who you are, I don't care what nobody gets to skip the line. When it comes down to it, men are men of respect. Men respect other men. But you know what we respect about other men? That they are respectable. Your experiences, what you've overcome, your scars, your war wounds, Not how much you complain, but how much you can uplift despite your own transgressions. There's a series of things that we have that makes certain men more appealing than other men. Those who triumph, those who are triumphant, is all the difference in between what it is that you think when you open your mind up and expand your thought process. I think, again, this is Road to Manhood, in my opinion. Anybody is able to disagree, by all means. I encourage disagreement because this is how I learn, this is how I grow. Discourse is always welcome, but I don't think too many people disagree with this. There are three factors that I think that all men have to master before they can truly be respected as the man that they see in the mirror. Number one, you have to be in control of your emotions. Number two, you have to be in control of your household. And number three, you have to be in control of your finances. Until these three attributes have been mastered, because believe it or not, they all intersect at a point. But until those three things have been mastered, it is very difficult for you to convince yourself, let alone anybody in society, that you have a good grasp. I'm tongue twisted. A good grasp or a good grip on manhood. Let me explain. Number one, your emotions. This should be self-explanatory. When you fly off the handle and or you show that you cannot deal with pressure situations, you show that the environment controls you and you don't control the environment. What kind of leader is prone to be affected by the way the environment moves? How does a woman entrust her life in somebody who has no leadership capabilities? It's impossible. It's impossible for other men to see you in any type of light when you operate out of fear and you operate out of lack and you operate out of desperation. You never have a plan and you're constantly worried and constantly frazzled by every obstacle that comes your way. A man feels, he has emotions. However, he does not do well operating in that emotional state. Without properly rationalizing and breaking down and coming to some reasonable understanding of what things are, we don't do well in emotional circumstances. Just like people who argue with their counterparts. There's a reason why we don't ever win those arguments. We can't win an argument with a woman because we're jumping into her domain. And the dumb thing that men always do is that they go into an emotional argument trying to make a logical point. That's the equivalent of saying that I'm going to take a cap full of water in an open blaze and hope to extinguish it. Stupid. Doesn't make any sense. Being able to think and process things and decide what is worth your time, what level of emotion that you're going to dedicate to it, and how much of whatever resources that you're going to dedicate to trying to find the solution rather than trying to engage in a battle of who's right and who's wrong is going to tell people a lot about you. I would always tell people in any situation, the most important thing, this is the reason why we have a Congress, this is the reason why we have a government, this is the reason, first and foremost, you have a lot of these things in place because if somebody murdered your friend or your mother or your loved one of any type, imagine the pressure it is of society if you had to go and get justice. If you didn't have the police and you didn't have the judicial system, you didn't have these other layers and barriers to take justice for the wrongdoing that was done to you, what exactly do you think your life would be if you found yourself in a situation to where you had to be the person to go out and seek your own justice? How many men would fold under pressure? Many people would not be able to deal with it. It's an extremely cumbersome process of just wrapping your mind around the fact that you have to go out here and go do these things. So trying to find the path of least resistance was something that was created in order to prevent men from having to go out and exact their own justice. But it was a fail-safe that was created to prevent certain situations from happening that will cause people to go out and just cause anarchy and violence and all types of discord in the street. It's to keep the peace. So again, one of the greatest attributes that a man will have is his ability to think in order to keep the peace in most situations. Hold on, we got a special guest. What's going on, Daddy Daycare?
What's going on, man? How's everything?
Announcement that you were at the dance. What's up with the dance, man?
Wifey ended up going ahead and taking it from me.
You see that? Compromise. People putting their heads together saying, like, hey, I got a priority to the people, and they work something out to be able to come on through.
Hmm.
Well, welcome aboard. Today we're having a conversation about the road to manhood, in my opinion.
Let's go.
All right, so we're
Let's
gonna
go.
spin the block around a little bit.
Okay.
Number two is your finances. I don't care what anybody tries to tell me. Every logical person knows that the person who says money doesn't matter more than likely either has too much of it or not enough of it. The problem that comes in is the fact that people don't recognize money as a tool. I don't pay my rent, I don't pay my mortgage, I don't pay my lights without money. I don't eat without it. This is the medium of exchange that we have or that has been agreed upon by the powers that be that we will utilize in order to satisfy the needs of society. So you want a car, it's going to take money. You want a house, it's going to take money. You want to go on a date, it takes money. You want to go out and do anything under the sun, it takes money. You want to go save a life, you want to go and pull resources together to stop human trafficking, you want to put in resources to try to stop AIDS, you want to put in resources, it takes money.
Oh yeah.
Every aspect of every noble thing that it is a person wants to do at some point in time is going to require some money somewhere.
Even
When it
building
comes down to
memories with your family.
you said what?
Even when it comes to try to build memories with your family, it takes money.
So no matter what happens, the whole thing is the fact that when you look at money as what it is, if I know that I have something noble in my heart that I want to do, I know that certain aspects of it is going to require me to obtain a certain amount of finances to secure that thing. So let's say I wanted to have a rehab center. I wanted to rehabilitate drug addicts, and try to help them become functional members of society again. It's not the government's responsibility to do that. It's people like us who have a heart for that type of thing that put in our time and our effort and monetary resources to secure placement, to secure treatment, to come up with programs, to finance all the needs of life up until that person becomes self-sufficient again or becomes a functional member of society in order to take care of what they need to take care of for themselves. You don't get to skip the line. I don't care how much heart you have. If I see a puppy out on the street and it's hungry, well, guess what? If I'm going to take that puppy in, it's going to require resources for me to take it to the vet. It's going to require resources for me to feed it, for me to house it, for me to buy whatever it is the needs of service is, and accommodate my life in somehow to where it's going to require resources to handle that. You don't get to skip the line. Men, your money, your resource is required. Your woman's resource is extra. I don't care how you look at it, there's no 50-50. Your resources are primary and they are required. You do not get a chance to say, oh, well, my wife pays this, and I do this, and I do this. You don't get respect by giving her half and half. You get respect by giving her options. Your job in this life is to make her life as comfortable as humanly possible because you choose her and you choose to protect her. You don't just protect her with your physicality. You don't just protect her with you being a man and your macho-ness. You protect her with your finances and your ability to provide a life for her and the offspring that she's going to bear for you. Or the dog, if y'all into that kind of thing.
So, yeah, the one that you found.
Whether you find it at the pound or whether you find it out on the road, whatever. But you don't get to skip the line. And guys have to understand the fact that it's not a greed in society thing. It's a understanding that you have to pay your way. Nobody is coming to bail you out. You have to have savings. You have to have plans for your money. You have to have investments. You have to have things in order because you cannot possibly provide a resource to anybody or anything and you can barely afford to take care of yourself. There's too many men that are trying to prioritize love and not prioritize finances. There are too many men that want to prioritize leisure time and not finances. You have to earn your leisure. You have to earn, like if I love somebody,
UIL. Yep.
if I love somebody, I want to provide the best to them. What happens is that there's a modern ideology of we will build it together. What it appears like is we will build it together is I will wait until she comes here and then we'll set the plan up and then I will go out and go do the work. That's not the way we do this. That's not the way that this works. As a man, I have learned that I have put myself in situations to where emotionally I was crippling myself because every statistical advantage I could have created, I missed out on a lot of them because I prioritized building a family before prioritizing making sure I had the means to support them adequately. So now when you
I,
sit here
I,
and look
I
at
want to clean that up. I want to clean that up because I don't want
oh,
nobody thinking that a family is a bad thing or looking at family or looking at. Sometimes you get into situations to where you don't necessarily get an opportunity to do it in reverse, where you get the finances and everything together first. You out, you having a good time, and hey, you get that phone call or you get that text. So I want to make sure that people understand that we're not saying that's a bad thing, but to put yourself in the best position possible, do that first. Do that first. Not saying push off the family, but just hold out just for a little bit until you are fully established and you are in the best financial position possible to where you can start taking on that loan.
so I'm gonna comment on one comment because I want to make sure that these things don't get misconstrued. You don't have to be rich. You don't have to have millions in the
No,
bank. You don't have
no.
what you have to be is in a situation to where you are comfortable and you have reached your ceiling of competency and you have reached a comfortable place of accomplishment. Because by the time you bring that woman into your situation, or by the time you bring those children into that situation, you're going to want things for them. You're going to want to provide things for them. And the more that you realize how limited you are in providing those things for them, the more it's going to hurt you internally as a man, the less of a man you're going to see yourself as. I cannot possibly see myself as a great leader or a great man or a great father or a great husband, knowing that there's constantly barriers that I put in that are self-inflicted. That if I know for a fact that I want you to have a car that is fully functional, that works, that we don't have to be in the mechanic shop every month for because something else on it breaks down. Well, how you think that makes me feel to where I can afford to make the band-aid repairs on the car, but I can't drop $5,000 on just going to go get you a car that's going to work as soon as you drive it off the lot. So I know that you can get to and from safely.
That's it. That's all that. And my kids are gonna be in that car too, so I know for a fact I don't have to worry about no alternators. I ain't got to worry about no drivetrain. I ain't got to worry none of that. None of that. That peace of mind that I get being able to put you in something like that, you know what I'm saying? That's gonna put me in a position to be able to focus on what I need to focus on more because I don't have to worry about that. I know you straight. You know what I'm saying?
And, and again, it's not based on the outlier situation. It's not saying that you have to go have the most high end vehicle that's on the market. It's not saying that you have to go out, you have to just lavishly provide every single gift under the sun that you want, but you need to be able to provide the minimum of support, the things that are necessary. Can I provide shelter for you? Can I provide subsidy for you? Do you have to go out of your way to accommodate what I lack?
We're gonna get to that, Ashley, but go ahead, Mike, finish up. Because you making a good point.
So what happens is I need to remind people that this is a man show. So a lot is spoken on from a male perspective. No, we're not a monolith. We don't all think the same. However, how we are graded amongst one another and how we're graded amongst society is based off a very clear metric. I don't get to determine what my value is. The market determines what my value is.
Yep.
So, how women perceive me is indicative of my market value. Not what I drive, not where I live, not my ambition, but things that dictate my value is what my climb is. If I'm spending 2 years, if I'm in an apartment in 2005 and I'm still in an apartment in 2025, unless that's intentional, I'm doing something wrong.
Yeah. Yeah. For sure.
Because what is the gradual pathway between here to here? For you to spend 20 years in the same situation is almost the equivalent of I start off at McDonald's, I don't like McDonald's anymore. Now I go start working at Burger King. I leave Burger King, now I go to White Castle. You're not moving up, you're just moving around. You're
Right.
not doing anything to elevate yourself. You're just doing things to find the most comfortable, bare minimum situation until you're no longer comfortable, but you won't go through the discomfort to grow out of the situation. You just find something else to lay under.
I think a lot of people are perfectly fine being lifetime renters, man.
And again, there's nothing wrong with that if that is your plan.
It's very wrong, but okay.
Again, if that's your plan to do, it's not about whether or not you can or can't. It's about do you have the means to do otherwise in the event that you made the choice to do. The crippling aspect of things generally rely on the fact that many of us are not able to do.
I think that you touched on a very, saying strong point where it's about the individual. Like you said, you're moving around. You're not moving up. You're just moving around. That individual, I guess, comfortability is such a powerful, saying pill, man. And this not wanting to be in discomfort because growth is being uncomfortable. You only grow when you're uncomfortable. So to not want to take that leap and start getting into owning a home, like 20 years, you're in a apartment for 20 years. That's 20 years and a 30-year mortgage that you pretty much will already almost be done with your house by that time. All that time
Again,
that you spent in the apartment, you would have been done with your house.
so here's the caveat to that, right? When it comes to choice, maybe the profession that I'm in requires me to be flexible. So being locked into a mortgage ain't my thing. Maybe my investment ideas have nothing to do with real estate, so I don't want to be tied to one piece of property. That's an outlier situation to where I can say, and it's not really an outlier situation, it really is more indicative of how people are making money today, that you have to move and jump companies a lot in order to earn the money that you need to make. Statistically, and it's even said this in Forbes, that a lot of people are working a job for up to like 2 years and then bouncing to competitor companies because staying with the same company for too long, you'll get lowballed. So in a situation like that, to where it's like, okay, if there's a plan associated with being able to be mobile and pick up and leave at your leisure, I can understand it. I can definitely understand it. So if you tell me that, well, what I'm doing right now, that there's a $20,000 jump for me to leave from here to go to Chicago, yeah. If you tell me that it's like now I'm in Chicago and I make 20,000 more, but they tell me to come to Oklahoma, I can make another 50 on top of that 20 that I just made. I don't want to be tied into a piece of property everywhere I go until I'm ready to settle down roots. But that depends on the individual. But that is something that is becoming increasingly more common today than it was prior to.
Yeah, but then again, as well, those are also those people that decided to not be comfortable and work in the discomfort so that they can grow, because you're only moving around like that and bouncing around like that, and one in a prestigious position in a prestigious company, like, you know what I'm saying, White Castle is not finna bounce you around. McDonald's is not finna bounce you around. Depending on
If
what
you
level you at now, depending on what level you at. If you on a corporate
if you're
level,
corporate,
and even then, even if you're at the corporate level, you still got to be in a specific position that requires that, with a specific skill set that you have, probably with a specific license or certification or degree that you need to have for that to happen.
not necessarily because most sales
I
jobs,
said maybe.
maybe, yeah. I mean, because like there's a lot of like VP sales positions that require you to be on the road all the time. Postal Service has one. Like there's again, it's increasingly more common over the last 5-10 years than it's been in history. But then again, you also had like the traveling sales. Like we were watching the Ray Kroc movie or whatever, where he was traveling all over the United States to sell the shake machines.
Mhm.
So I mean,
Yeah.
it's like it's not uncommon. But again, if you wanted to make money, you had to get outside and go do what you had to
You
do.
got to do what you got to do, right?
So some people were the local factory workers, and some people was the, hey man, I'm gonna get out here and find my thing. And he found his. He stole it from some folk, but I mean, he found it. I mean, he was the first Zuckerberg, to be real with you.
Yeah.
But anyway, on that note, and we'll touch on his last point, and then after that, then we could open up to the chat. So we talked about your emotions, keeping your emotions intact. Number two, we talking about your finances. Number three, your household.
I think we touched
You
on that
can't
already.
play
You need to
any
own
type
it.
of, huh?
I think we touched on that already. You need to own it.
Don't matter if you own it. When you turn the keys to it, does it have your name on it? You have to understand that peace of mind comes with being able to have a place that's all your own. A lot of people can tell who you are or what you're about by walking in and looking at the condition of your house.
Right. But what you mean by name on it? You mean name on it as in lease, or name on it as in title?
Has your name on it, lease, deed, doesn't matter. Can you pay the bill in exchange for the keys?
Hmm. Okay.
Now, when I stated that these are intersecting circumstances,
Hmm.
you cannot live with your mother and tell me nothing about what I need to do. Because clearly there's something you haven't figured out yet. Now, the outlier to that. I understand the downgrade to upgrade situation. The market
Mm.
is way different. Sometimes we group together with friends. Sometimes we go back home, depending on what age you're in, to come back, get your situation, regroup, to redo some things, pay off some credit cards. And again, these are things that are more common today than they were because now
But
buying a
that's
house.
but that's a plan.
But again, I'm getting that. I'm getting that. I'm getting
Okay,
that.
okay,
I'm
okay,
getting that.
okay. That's
That's
fine.
why. That's why. That's why I said it's the outlier situation.
Hmm.
But the circumstances are you cannot be couch surfing and embarking calls. You can't tell me that I need to respect you as a man and you don't respect yourself to get your own place to live. You can't set an expectation for a woman and you don't have an expectation for yourself. Then, when you have a place to live, is the place that you live is it in disarray? Because clean houses are productive houses. Organized houses are productive houses. When somebody walks into your house, what do they smell? They smell cat and dog feces the second that they hit the door. You
Garbage.
have to be selective about who comes over to your house because it's constantly in disarray. The people have to wait outside because there's so much stuff mounted on your couch that nobody can sit there. Do you have closets full of junk that have no real reason to be there and you won't get rid of this junk because somehow it has some level of intrinsic value to you? I'm not telling people to minimalize or minimalize. I'm not telling you what to do. What I am telling you is the fact that disarray is a direct reflection of how you think and how you see yourself. Because your sanctuary, your temple, the place that you go to find peace is in chaos. You're in chaos. Period. So in your area where you have complete control, if the place that you have complete control in is out of control, it's a reflection of your mindset. It's not a reflection off of, oh well, she did that and oh well, that was there's no excuse for it. Because a person that wants a clean house is gonna have a clean house.
Excuse me.
A person that's going to live a clutter-free life is going to have a clutter-free life. And believe it or not, whether people realize this or not, the reflection of how your house look is oftentimes a reflection of how your finances are, a reflection of how your decision making skills are. It's a direct reflection of everything that you are. Reason I say this is because of the fact that this is the version that you are when no one is watching. This is the version that you maintain when nobody is there to see you.
It's the real you.
It's the real, most authentic form of you with no kitchen manners. When you come in the house and you just throw your shoes anywhere, you take your clothes off and
Hmm.
they're just laid all over the place. If you don't have hampers, you don't have things in organization. People who are not organized at home are oftentimes not organized at work. They're not
Yep.
organized most places.
Yep. Yep.
It's just a reflection. And again,
Cars junkie.
this is not a shot at people for how they live. This is just an understanding of the fact that as men, we have to really recalibrate our thinking to understand that a lot of the decisions that we make and are reflective of the results that we are getting. So, Midas, you want to touch on that part?
Already did. Mic drop.
So, I'm about to open up the chat. If anybody got something that they want to say, y'all want the smoke, you want the smoke, whatever. No, I'm joking. If you guys have comments or whatever, this is the time I want you guys to open up, have a conversation. Let's talk about it. If you agree, you disagree, any point at all, by all means, drop something in the chat.
I
Let's
only
have a
want to see
conversation about it.
disagreements. Who got disagreements?
Since Midas was late, he got to answer the first one.
Okay. Da, da, da. Okay. Oh, thanks, Mikey. That's why he's an extraordinary man. I appreciate that, bro.
Name
He said
on it.
emotions are logical. The way we reason, way of thinking when we go through emotions is not logical. Emotions are logical, but when we go through emotions, it's not logical. Kind of think what he's saying. That kind of makes sense because let's say that you did something that made me angry. Saying being angry is the logical response for the thing that you made me angry about. But my reaction and response, because my anger is heightened, now what I do and say may be, out of order. So yeah, I get what you're saying. Like my whole sense of, being calm and being collective and focusing on the situation and handle it in a professional manner can get thrown out of the window because I am extremely angry. So I get what you're saying about that.
And there's nothing worse than having the fury of masculinity mixed with the heightened emotional, irrational state of being.
Yeah.
I have personal experiences. I used to be one of those guys that I used to get so flamed up that I throw things and slam things and stuff. And it wasn't because of the fact that I wanted to hit people or I wanted to do things to people. It was just that the anger, the buildup inside of me was so fiery. It's like you could only see red in those moments. And I mean, I've broken lamps, all types of things. And it's like it's been to the point to where it's like I literally heard my daughter tell me, "Dad, you're scaring me." Because what you don't see is that they're looking at you like, okay, it's the lamp today, or it's the spoon or the bowl today. Is it me tomorrow? Should I always be? Should when I see you raise your voice, should I go duck and hide somewhere so that I can avoid being the next target when you don't have anything near you to throw?
Mm.
You don't see that. You don't know that. In your mind, you're finding the path of least resistance. In their mind, based off what they see, is, oh, this dude is unhinged. What the hell is wrong with him?
So Jose also comes back with he thinks that what he's getting out of this conversation is that you have to be an entrepreneur in order to have reached manhood. And
Well,
that
that's
is very
I,
far from the truth.
I addressed that when I was
Did you?
breaking down that point of being comfortable and having certain things established before. We addressed that. The one that I want to address, and Ashley, you better be up in here because I need to talk to you, dog. How does this affect the man when
That's
the
what I'm
woman
reading.
provides it? Provides the car, provides the household, coming from a female's point of view. Okay, first things first, I can never speak from a female's point of view. What I can tell you is any man that is comfortable, not content with having a partner, but any man that is comfortable being taken care of is not a man. Any man that does not see, any man that sees you working and he doesn't
Yep.
10x his work to complement
Yep.
what you're doing just innately is not a man.
Not only that, but if you're providing the car and a household, and with household, I would just automatically assume that you're talking about utilities and everything else that come along with that, the internet, all that jazz. If you don't see him trying to make huge leaps and bounds to show you that he's appreciative and trying to give back, what's the point?
Now, here's the thing, right? And I want to be very clear about this. The best question in response to that is, what's the plan? Because I could have fell on some very hard times. You came in and you're working with me, pick me up. The one thing that I see women do often is that they have a very weird view of what potential is. Okay, so potential is like a woman seeing a guy that's like 6'5" and telling him, trying to encourage him to play basketball that you randomly saw in the street. My idea of a man's potential is when I see what he can do on the court and I'm encouraging him to stay doing it, to stick with it because
Give
he's
me a
great at
sec,
what
Mike.
he does. Huh?
Give me 1 sec.
All right. I think that women have a tendency to take words and want to nurture what somebody says. That if his actions match his words, great. But if you see that you are putting in the majority of the work and this is a consistency, or you see that it seemed like it was going in a 50-50 or going in some level of balance, and then it starts to tail off after a while and you're giving more and he's taking more and giving less, reevaluate the circumstances. The whole thing is the fact that, and I have a special spot for men who are suffering from mental illness, PTSD, and other things. I want to be very clear about this because there's a lot of military guys, there's a lot of people who have a lot of men have suffered from some extreme circumstances. Some of
Yeah.
our very first abusers were our own mothers. I'm going to say that again, and I want y'all to listen clear. Some of our very first abusers were our own mothers. So it is a task to learn how to deal with women in the first place, how to trust them, how to believe them, and even how to learn how to coexist with them. Because a lot of our early onset dealings with women have been so negative that we really struggle to we know what we feel in our heart innately to do, but those bad situations that we've encountered really make it difficult for us to grasp the understanding of who do I do it for? I know what I want to do. I got a new iPhone. I want you to have a new iPhone, but then I also don't want you texting Mo, Larry, Curly, Shimp, and Dick all
Mhm.
night long on the phone that I bought you, on the service that I provide you. I want to go to sleep and I want to feel secure and I want to feel that you are secure and that you're my emotional security. That you would respect me enough to never do anything to make me question who you are. Now, as far as back to the question at hand, is like building together. The only way to build together is that everybody's got to come with something. You can't build together when one person comes with something and one person comes with nothing. We're not building together, enabling you.
I agree.
We're not building together.
I agree.
I don't care. I don't care if we have an unequal amount. Even if he has 10, he's trying. He's coming with something. Look at my mask, it's golden. So if we're traumatized, would hold on, I want to read that. Say, so if we traumatized, would getting help be a better solution than leaving? If I know that I'm suffering from something that's indicative in my behavior, that I'm suffering from something, it is also incumbent on me to seek the proper help.
Correct.
A lot of times we're trying to mask our emotions in our love for our woman, and it's causing us to trip, fall, and stumble all over ourselves. It is okay to go to counseling. It's okay to have a conversation. I would tell you to pay the $65 or $100 every session to sit down with a counselor for an hour a week rather than go sit with a pastor to listen to him tell you some crap in the Bible. Nothing wrong with the Bible. There's not a Bible diss. I'm just telling you that there are professionals who are qualified to have these conversations. Go get real help. You know when something is
Exactly.
wrong. We
You
can't
do know
diagnose.
when something you
You know
can't
when something
diagnose
is wrong.
yourself, but you do know something is off.
You
You
know.
know
You
for a
know.
fact that you know what, man. Like I feel like my aura is off today.
Not even
Like
just that. You look at as a man. I would encourage every man when you look at the byproduct of your work. When you look at the byproduct of your work, look at the results that you get from the things that you touch. And that's indicative of because sometimes you might not need counseling. You might need life coaching. You might need somebody to help you with time management. I know you hate that. But I know you might need somebody to help you learn how to properly facilitate and prioritize. You might need somebody to help you see your week out. You might need a personal assistant, for God's sakes. But you do know
yeah,
that you might need help. Regardless of what it is, we all know when we're at an area to where we're struggling with something because the results that we are getting are not the results that we set out to get. And after it happens over and over again, by then that is an indicator that we know that we need to pull back and look at it from another lens. Maybe I'm not qualified to deal with this myself. Let me find someone who can help me.
and that's perfectly fine, Kobe. You know what I'm saying? At least you're the one taking the initiative to go seek it for yourself. You know what I'm saying? Everybody around you, they probably all got a negative connotation about it. But at least that person is probably going to turn out happier. They're going to be more productive. They're going to get more things done and accomplished. They're going to be able to read people better. They're going to be able to handle situations better. And they probably will even start pushing them people, you know what I'm saying, slowly out of their life to the wayside.
I mean, that's usually what happens. When you start taking the steps to get yourself better and to start making better decisions and start working on your emotions, like for instance, right? I'll use this as an example. I used to smoke cigarettes back in the day. When I smoked cigarettes, it was a common thing for conversations and things that you guys just did, sitting outside of the pavilion or whatever you at school, wherever you at, and you guys are just part of small talk, you know. Once I quit, a lot of the people who I spoke to and had that small talk conversation with no longer were around because that common medium that we had was no longer there. It's not like I fell out with these guys. When I stopped delving into rap music and stopped delving into certain things that required me to be out in the streets, my circle of people who were around me got smaller and smaller and smaller because
Yeah,
my desires of my heart changed. Therefore, my decisions changed. And the walk took me in a different direction where those people were not going. The only ones that I have met back up with are the ones that have actively been moving away from that area, like yourself, like Relentless, like everybody here in this pod, like my brother here. When you decide to do something different, your circle is going to change automatically. It may not be
yeah,
instantly, but it will change. If you deep into the Bible, you're not going to be hanging out with the same people in the street because it negates what you believe.
right. Or starting to believe basically. You know, your whole mental state when it started to change, and I actually saw this with my own guy. You know what I'm saying? We were like this. Couldn't break us apart. But it's like once I graduated college and then my daughter came and it's like my whole mental state started changing. Like, man, you know what I'm saying? I gotta start, you know what I'm saying, gotta buy a house, gotta have a career for real and started taking my business more serious and things of that nature. And it's like even our conversations, like kind of just kind of felt brain dead because I wasn't able to hold these, I guess, more intelligent, more financially sound type of conversations, and we just split apart, you know.
And that comes along with the process. We have to understand that what we go through, say, time out, what cigarettes have to do with hitting the streets? Okay, so for everybody who missed that point, the actions that I was taking, as far as what I was partaking in, once I no longer partook in the activity, the people who were associated with that activity also left with the habit.
Hmm.
I've never seen an ex junkie going back to where they used to get high at to kick it with the current junkies. You just
Right.
don't do it. So once we start making changes and mental shifts, we start making completely different decisions based off of what's important to us. And that's part of the growth and process. But again, when we start talking about these tiers, getting your finances together, getting your emotions together, and getting your household together, all of these things, they interlock, they intertwine, because you got to have money to get the house. You got to have a solid mental state to be organized. You got to be focused mentally to be able to get the type of money that you're trying to get to, or to try to get the reserves that you want to have. There's a lot to it.
Yeah.
It's all
Ashley got it.
interlocked. So if I could give any advice to anybody, just start somewhere. Go clean your living room. I'm
Mhm.
challenging
One
everybody.
room at a time.
We're gonna do a
One
living
room at a
room
time.
challenge. Listen,
Yeah.
we're gonna do a front room challenge. We're gonna do is everybody gonna go to Phil Jones 1986. They're gonna go to my Instagram and y'all gonna tag me in a photo of your clean living room.
I'm with that. I'm with that. You got you have until Monday. So we going into the weekend. So Monday, come Monday, you got the whole weekend. Come Monday, post a picture of your clean living room. I'm gonna post mine too.
All I can say is that if anybody ever noticed that when they're in the spirits of clean, that they just feel better. When they sit down in a clean room, you just feel better. When you crack a window
Hmm.
after feeling stuffy and stuff, you just feel that cool breeze come in. Not for
Your
you guys
nose
that's up
open
north.
up.
Yeah,
Hmm.
not you guys that's up north. Us Floridian folks. Front room.
The front room.
But yeah, like being down here, say emotions are the physical or the state of mind, once again, endorphins. No matter how you
Hmm.
explain it, you have to deal with them.
Hmm.
The science behind it is irrelevant to the fact that it needs to be dealt with. It needs to be checked at the door. If I'm having an argument, a dispute with my woman, you can't take that into work. I can't come in here, every woman that I see, I just tell them about themselves because I had an argument with this one woman. It don't work that way. It's just not the way that things operate. And like most situations, if you can control yourself in the presence of your boss, you can control yourself everywhere else. Okay, living
My
room.
man said real or not real. We don't want no BBL living rooms.
Hey, don't show me the best corner of your sectional couch neither. I need to see the whole thing. Hey, we're gonna get it. I'm gonna come back. I'm gonna give y'all the white glove test and go across that TV stand. These are a household favorite. Shameless
Oh,
plug.
oh, they got 3 dogs. Ooh,
You better watch them too.
that's work. That is work.
Listen, guys. One thing that I would definitely want to say, and with all seriousness, is the fact that we have a lot of work to do, because a lot of the way that we've been taught to think and the way that we've been taught to feel, we've been taught that feeling is bad. There's nothing wrong with feeling.
Mhm.
Acting out of your feelings is not okay.
No, we're gonna
Acting
classify
out
that as the
how you
man cave,
feel.
Mikey.
You said what?
Mikey said, "Should he take the Bud Light sign?" I'm sorry, man. That was funny. No, that class we gonna classify it as the man cave.
Whatever works. Heineken preferred, but no, that's a different story. No,
Mhm.
but again, with all seriousness, we have to start looking at things, in my opinion, from the perspective of distance thinking. None of us know how long we have here, but there's two things that we know for sure. Is that we know that we touch somebody's life every time we open up our mouth and with every action that we do. Yeah, responding versus reacting. That's a perfect way to explain it. Because to respond to something, and even then, I would throw a tad bit of a little bit more of a because you can respond to something because some people they listen to respond and not listen to understand. So active listening predicates a different kind of response than just because if I do this and you respond, might be the same as the reaction.
Mm-hmm.
So circumstantial. But I do think that that's one of the things that are very key for us is that active listening brings all conflict down. Understanding not to play into certain battlefields because we are ill equipped to do that. I've never met a man that was, I know lawyers who are grade A lawyers in the courtroom that cannot withstand 10 minutes of listening to their woman tell them anything because they can't win there. So it also brings people together. It does. It does. You see, one book that I would suggest people read, my book of the day, Seven Habits of Highly Effective People. Chapter 1 to change a lot of people's lives. Because a lot of us, we have a tendency to, when we walk into work, we automatically look for what's wrong. We automatically come in with the mentality that something is going to be wrong when we get there, rather than walking in with the understanding that things happen, roll with the punches. So you can predicate how your day goes by tailoring your mind to understand that your day is a day, rather than you coming in and you predicating it. Okay, oh, it's raining outside. It's going to be a bad day. Oh, the sun is shining. It's a great day. Oh, it's too hot outside. Oh, it's freezing out. People let the environment dictate to them how to feel rather than dictating how they're going to feel despite the environment.
Mm-hmm.
You get to wake up and decide whether today is a good day for you or not. Yes, something might happen. Yes, somebody that you love may pass away. Yes, something negative could happen, but does it make it a bad day or does it make it a bad experience within a day?
That part, you know what I'm saying? Because we also have this whole like thing about us, the case of the Mondays. I don't know about everybody else, but my Mondays are fantastic. And that's because I choose it to be fantastic. It's like yesterday. Yesterday was freezing rain and my tire caught a flat. I'm on the Skyway, so it ain't nowhere close by where I can get off and try to make it to a spot. But I was able to get off. I was able to make it to an auto zone. Across the street from the auto zone happened to be a mechanic shop. So boom, went over there, was able to get the tire fixed. All right. I could have been like, oh, fuck this day, all this and that. But you know what I'm saying? I rolled with the punches of what the day gave me.
And
Got that
usually the
fixed.
outcome,
Right. You know what I'm saying? Continued on with my day. Went to the job. Turns out that there was a miscommunication. The ball was dropped somewhere in the email chain or whatever, or the phone call chain, whatever. But the customer canceled the job. So, of course, me and my project manager had to have a conversation. But I didn't let the day, ruin me. I made no money. I spent way more money than I made yesterday, but I didn't let the day dictate my emotions and everything for the day. I still came home. I spent time with my kids. We watched the movie. I played the Xbox. I still had a fantastic night. I didn't let it bother me.
yeah, no emotion to your point with the stoicism. I'm Mr. Google fact, so I didn't know the exact definition of what stoicism meant. So while I saw that pop,
Uh, you
I
need to
looked
read
it up.
that book. You need to
I get
read that book, The Great Stoic. You need to
hold
read
on,
that.
hold on, hold on, hold on. Stoicism, for those who don't know what that word means, the endurance of pain or hardship without the display of feeling and without complaint. You see, the reason why that word is so powerful and the reason why I decided to read the definition out loud for it is because of the fact that that is how we gain our respect in society based off the
Hmm.
things that we go through. Our lives are predicated off of what we overcome. You came from the hood, or you came from a bad situation in your upbringing, you had bad situations. Did you overcome them, or did you succumb to them? Did you join the gang, or did you rise above the gang life? What did you do when faced with adversity? Did you find lemons and make lemonade? And did you complain about having to make lemonade the whole time that you did it?
Mm.
So a lot of our attitudes as men, and this is kind of that men cry in the dark type thing, we have to put on this face because nobody wants to see us complain. Nobody wants to see us complain. Nobody wants to see how we feel. Nobody wants to ask. We just have to endure. But what we're trying to do, especially with groups like this and with understandings that we're trying to put into place, is it's okay to feel. It's okay to have conversations with other men about the things that we go through all the time. It's okay to decompress, but it's not okay to whine about it. It's not okay to make excuses for why it happened. Okay, cool. You had a lazy day. Get your lazy ass up and go do better.
Mm-hmm.
You had a moment to where you were emotionally down because you and the girl that you thought you were going to be with for the rest of your life, she split on you. Boom. Okay, cool. People break up every day, B. Move on. Let's go. Come on. The race don't stop. It happens. Things happen all the time. And as they happen, we are measured by how much of it we overcome or how much of it we succumb to. That's why you can look at a homeless man and just step over him as if he doesn't even exist. But you can praise a billionaire that you don't even know
Mm-hmm.
because we measure accomplishments and competency, not victimhood. Good one, no emotion.
Sir. Um, I got to cut out. I really appreciate y'all. I love hanging out with y'all and having these conversations. Ashley, Jose, no emotions. First time seeing you here, my brother. So thank you so much for
He's the
giving us
guy
your
whose
time.
music I'll be sending you.
You say that again, Mike?
The guy whose music I send you that told you that's my favorite rapper.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah,
That's
yeah.
him.
That's him.
That's him.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. He dope. He dope.
That's
Yeah,
super
Mike, let
dope.
me hear some of
Showed
your
up to
stuff,
the
man.
live, bro.
It's real nice. It's real nice. Your mental state, but I definitely appreciate you stopping in today, man. Kobe, and everybody else. But I got to cut out. Like, share, subscribe. Check us out on YouTube at the Extraordinary Man Podcast. Like, share, subscribe, and click the bell. And I'll see you guys tomorrow morning. Peace.
All right. So, needless to say, thank you all so much for all of the hard work and effort that y'all put into enduring my lovely voice all night. We're going to go ahead and bring it to a close. Thank you guys for tuning in. Tomorrow, Saturday, we'll be live again at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard, at 10 a.m. Central Time. By all means, check back in with us on that one, and then we'll have our pre-record released on Sunday. That'll be available whenever you guys want to on demand at YouTube. This is Mike, aka Phil Jones. Have you know me professionally and personally. Thank you guys for your time. Peace.